Here's the first question on today's Michigan Football Report. We're going to go over several burning questions, things you need to know. Just some of my opinions here from Michigan, Texas. Jeffrey Cooperstein, Jeff_Coop27. The people are saying, I'm so sure they are, Jeff. The people are saying that Texas is a better football team across the board. They have more talent. They're 6.5-point favorites over Michigan. It's now 7.5. Jeff, keep up with no Stallions. Spelled Stallions wrong. What kind of football fan is this? Total casual. Talent deficit to Texas. How will Michigan be able to overcome this? Oh, I'm so scared, Jeff. I'm so scared because they used to call it Clemsoning. Then Clemson won a couple national titles in 2016 and 2018. New coining, new phrase here, Jack. It is Texasing. It's when everybody in the world thinks you're going to win a game and you let them down again. Texas has basically done nothing since 2005 outside of a year or two there with Colt McCoy towards the end of 2 decades ago. That is the top story on today's show. We've got a bunch of burning questions you are not going to want to miss here on the Michigan Football Report. Let's get it going right now. All right, Jack. We started this before the Wisconsin game in 2021. Before you were even on the desk of the Michigan Football Report, it was, let's put the vibes out, right? Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. And it's only let us down one time. And I think that's because we had too many Michigan State fans in that video. It just hurt the vibes. Not enough Michigan fans partook in it. So one time we put this on there. In now the 4th season, you want Michigan to beat opponent. You want Michigan to beat Texas. Like today's video, let's get an outsized amount of likes, 1,200, 1,300, 1,500 likes. Put the good vibes out there because I'm going to get a list of viewers, list of Michigan fans. Your name better be on there because if not, and Michigan were to lose this game, I'm coming for you. Jack and I are going to get your name. We're going to look you up on the internet. Boom, kick your door in. Ban you from Michigan football for the rest of your life, including this show. So put the good vibes out, right? If you want Michigan, if you'd like them to be Michigan, right? To Michigan, if you'd like Michigan to beat Texas, right? If you'd like them to do it, just like today's video out, you'll be putting good karma out into the world. A guy putting bad karma out into the world is this guy, known internet hater, Jeffrey Cooperstein, who happens to be one of Jack and I's coworkers. The people are saying, right? No Stallions. Well, Michigan proved no Stallions was needed, okay? Went on the road without their head coach at Penn State. Maryland, then beat Ohio State again without Jim Harbaugh and no Connor Stallions. Then went and go beat a little guy named Nick Saban, right, in the Rose Bowl. Oh, really, right? We needed Stallions, right? Oh, okay. And then you know who didn't win that day, Jack? Texas didn't win that day. They completely the bed. Everybody was saying then what they're saying now. Oh, Texas is going to beat Washington. It's going to be Texas and Alabama in the national title game. Wrong. So I don't know if the talent. We'll see what comes out there. I'm sure on paper, Texas has more talent than Michigan because of recruiting rankings. They've got a returning starting quarterback coming back for his 3rd year. He's got the stench of Ohio State on him in Quinn Ewers. But I put this tweet out a while back, and I think these keys are obvious, right? So my keys: dismantle the interior offensive line of this Texas team, right? Texas and Washington, I said in yesterday's video, very similar teams outside of, Texas yet doesn't have 3 or 4 NFL level receivers yet. They may in the future. They've got a really nice true freshman, a transfer from Alabama, etc. Dismantle the interior offensive line with Kenneth Grant, with Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, just like they did to Washington last year. Number 2, the inside running game, right? Texas is the inverse of Michigan in the fact that their weakest point of their team now, in my opinion at least, is that they're replacing their 2 dominant defensive tackles this year, whereas they were very dominant in that regard last year. So Michigan's got to make sure that inside running game's working. I put his face on there for a reason. Kalel Mullings, hell, maybe even Alex Orji, they'll shotgun. The fact, boom, just take off up the middle like Denard Robinson used to do back in 2011 and 2012. And the defensive perspective, right? Just like the Washington game. Blanket the wide receivers with 5 and 6 defensive back zone sets. Make Quinn Ewers throw the ball just a half second faster than he wants to. Just a half second. Don't let him go to that 3rd or that 4th read. Make sure he looks and make him throw the ball because there's a defender right on him. Throw the ball to a 2nd read. Take a shot in the ribs. Hopefully he stays healthy, right, after the Michigan game. And Michigan will be batting balls down and getting game-stealing interceptions. It was Mikey Sainwell this year, right? Mikey Sainwell this year. I don't know who you think it's going to be this year, Jack, to get the game-stealing interception. I might go Makari Page. Who you got?
Give me Zeke Berry.
Zeke Berry from Jack. I like both picks there. Funny enough, if you saw our preview last week, Jack, I was pretty spot on. I was only off by those 2 55 and 50-yard field goals from having the exact score prediction. I even said, I think Michigan's one of their scores is going to come. I said, pick 6 from either Will Johnson or Zaire Hill. So, boom, we can predict the future here at the Michigan Football Report. Ron James coming in, an Ohio State fan, replying to my tweet, says, will Quinn Ewers be the first Buckeye commit from that class of 2021, right? At the time, the greatest recruiting class in the history of college football to beat Michigan. And does he get a pair of gold pants for winning? I don't understand why Ohio State fans are rooting for Texas, right? Quinn Ewers, right? Number one, he's got that Ohio State stench name, right? So that's going to really take a lot for him to get off. But you go and you take pictures like this with your high school teammate, another man smacking your ass in an Ohio State uniform, just soiling the sanctity of that program. Now, I tweeted this out over the weekend, and it was a clear joke, right? I was just round the people up, Jack, round the people up, and they did exactly what I thought was. I said, seems like Ohio, the only thing that can unite Ohio State and Michigan fans is beating Texas and Quinn Ewers this weekend. I received hundreds of messages. Clearly, I hadn't, right? I just want to see them say, no, you haven't, James, etc. From Ohio fans expressing their support of Michigan because they want to take down the QB who defecated, right? Look up that word in the dictionary, Jack. Defecated on the sanctity of the Buckeye program. He went there, he took pictures with another man smacking his ass. Then we're taking photos of cutting our hair in Ohio State uniform. Just absolutely abhorrent. Abhorrent is the right word. If a Michigan recruit did that, I'd tell him to get his butt off the campus and never come back. But Quinn Ewers did go to Ohio State for a year, got himself a bunch of NIL money, and then 4 months later, went right back down to Texas, and now he is the Longhorns' starting quarterback, right? I can't believe Ohio State fans are rooting for this guy. He made your program and your fan base look dumb, look stupid. I find it very weird. I even find it emasculating, Jack, emasculating that he can come and just take what he wants in your program, go to Texas, and then you're going to cheer him on. You know what the analogy here is, Jack? This is what it is. Ohio State can't be Michigan. We all know that, right? It's like saying, oh, my girlfriend and my wife and I, we were on a break, and she started dating this other guy, but that's over. We're back together. But, this one bully keeps beating me up at the rec league, so I'm going to bring my wife's ex-boyfriend to the rec league with me. He's going to beat up the bully, right? Quinn Ewers is the guy who was banging your wife, all right? Now you're Ohio State. You're getting beat up at the rec league by Michigan, and now you want him to come beat him up there. How emasculating are you, Ohio State fans? How bad do you feel that you can't beat Ohio State, that Ryan Day has been this 6 year at Ohio State, can't get a win at home against Michigan, right? Can't get a win on the road against Michigan outside the one time he broke the rules, had Justin Fields lie to get an exemption in the transfer portal before it existed, got a quarterback in 2019, or their quarterback situation would have been way worse than Michigan is this year in the first year for Sherrone Moore. It's very emasculating, and you should feel ashamed of yourself. Frankly, you shouldn't even look in the mirror. If I was an Ohio State fan, I would take every single mirror in my house down until after this week because you're going to root for your wife's ex-boyfriend, the guy who you see behind your back, to go and root to beat the bully up because you're too much of a wimp. You can't beat the bully. You can't beat Michigan, and you're an absolute disgrace of a program. But Michigan, it's going to take care of Quinn Ewers just like they did in 2021, just like they've done of every single Ohio State quarterback that had been thrown in the fray against Michigan in the last 4 seasons. And Quinn Ewers is right there with them. He's an Ohio State quarterback, and he, of course, will not be able to beat Michigan. A quick word. Football season is here, and for me, that means longer days at the office and less time to cook at home. Thankfully, I have today's sponsor, Factor, to help me stay full even on game days. Fuel up with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for football season thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Look, if you don't have anybody cooking meals for your home, you got a lot of stuff going on in your life, you gotta choose Factor. It's so easy, so simple. Food in less than 2 minutes. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore with Factor. Head over to factormeals.com/MichiganChat50 and use code MichiganChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code MichiganChat50 at factormeals.com/MichiganChat50. 50% off your first month and 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The link for that is down in the comments and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. From our Facebook page, right, almost 80,000 strong Facebook.com/HarbaugHBlue. It's down in the comments description. We got Hans. He's saying, is Sherrone a lame dunk with no contract? Seems like he's set to fail so they can go out and get the coach they really want. Now, this is weird because this was kind of just released out there in the wilderness. I guess some people knew about it. I just didn't pay attention. It just seems so odd and so odd. I don't know. I mean, is that the best word I could come up with for Ward Manuel to not get a contract done with Jim Harbaugh for several different off seasons and then sign Sherrone Moore as your coach with no coaching search, right? Hire him as your head coach. And then we're talking about, that was what, mid to late January? Okay. We're talking about it's 7.5 months since Sherrone Moore was introduced. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 17th head coach in Michigan football history, whatever, his 14th coach, Sherrone Moore. Well, what are you doing? Okay. What are you doing, Ward Manuel? So I do find it odd. But I am a big connect the dots guy, and I kind of see what I'm seeing here from Hans and some other people. It's like, is Michigan not signing that deal and just a memorandum of understanding so it would be easier for them to maybe fire Sherrone Moore if something comes out deeper, if he's suspended for 3, 4, 5, 6 games by the NCAA, whether this season or next, with related to the Kinder Stallions notice of allegations from about 10 days ago? I might be conspiracy theory here. I might have a tinfoil hat on, but why else wouldn't it? Right? Why else wouldn't they have him sign 8 months? It doesn't take this long, and this is the University of Michigan. You got lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers. Right? There's nothing to run away from. Sherrone's not asking for anything differently. You're not negotiating with him coming over from a different school. So it's very odd. Just something to keep an eye on. Right? Connect the dots out there. Connect the dots. Next question coming in from our own Jack Lauderay. Make sure you guys follow him. Jack, let's make sure we get your Twitter account in the description, in the comments. Follow him at Jack Lauderay. But he had to get me riled up today. I knew it. I knew somebody was going to do it. Jack did it, so he put it in the show. He says, has Michigan installed that much-anticipated Wi-Fi yet? Push me across, Jack. It is 2024, Michigan. Michigan football has the stadium that is seen as the biggest, the big house. It's the biggest stadium in all of America, one of the top 5 biggest stadiums in the world. And I've got to go into the stadium for, I guess, like the 34th season I've gone to Michigan football games since I was a little wee boy without any internet connection. Now, it didn't really exist until about, 20 years ago or so. But I've got to have my cell phone in the iPhone era, right? iPhone came out in 2007. Wi-Fi was pretty ubiquitous for at least 20 years, and I go to stadiums left, left, and right. I go to NRG Stadium for the national title game. Boom, I'm getting Wi-Fi. It's only stadiums like the Rose Bowl, no Wi-Fi. Michigan Stadium, no Wi-Fi. Notre Dame, no Wi-Fi. It's like we've got to have an old school stadium so we can't get Wi-Fi. I could go to Ukraine in the front lines right now, okay? Not saying hope everybody's safe. I go to Ukraine with bombs over my head, broken down buildings, etc., etc. Like you see in this photo, I'm walking by, boom, I'm getting signal, I'm getting Wi-Fi, African safari. Hey, kids, hey, what if you go to African safari in the middle of nowhere? No humans, 200 miles in any direction. There's Wi-Fi. Somebody's got a Wi-Fi. You just hook up Elon Musk, the Starlink, the routers. How does Michigan not have Wi-Fi yet? I go to a Cowboys game, they've got Wi-Fi. I go to this team's game, they've got Wi-Fi. And you say, well, pay attention to the game, pay attention to the game. I'd love to know what the stats were sometimes, wouldn't you? Right? I like to keep track of things. Right? I even like to post on social media. I like to put my thoughts on Twitter, right? And you can do that because there's like 9-minute commercial breaks when you're at these damn games, sitting there at Michigan Stadium with no cell signal. Right? You have that little thing, no signal, SOS, no cell signal. So thank you, Verizon. Thank you, AT&T. Thank you, T-Mobile, that you don't get any cell signal. Right? It's very easy. I used to work in the cell industry myself, but they don't do it. And Michigan just refusing to give any workable Wi-Fi. It is unbecoming of the national champions, right? National champions in the field, national champions in the classroom, national champions that I could post a photo of me and my son in a Michigan game on my Twitter or Instagram account so my friends and family can see. But no, they will not do it. It's a disgrace. Michigan should be ashamed of themselves, and whoever is making the decision not to move forward with it, it's super cheap. Nothing's gonna hurt Michigan's balance book or checking account or anything like that. It's super cheap to happen. So many stadiums have it. Michigan does it. It's an absolute disgrace. Make sure you guys comment Wi-Fi, right? You heard my rant. This is now the 5th year I've done this Wi-Fi rant. 2019, 2021, 22, 23, and 24. And still, they do not put in the Wi-Fi. Comment it below, right? Again, we're not doing it to not watch the game. We're just like, I want to find out what other scores go on in the game, right? And it's not just the stadium. You're within a mile of Michigan Stadium, it seems like, for 2 hours before the game. You're in a cellular vortex. So at 10:14 a.m., right, the game kicks off at noon till 4 p.m. till I get to my car, but even after that till I get 10 miles outside of Ann Arbor. I go 6.5, 7 hours with no connection to the world. Unacceptable in 2024. All right, Ryan Clifton. Ryan Clifton next up on our question. He says, if Michigan beats Texas, does this give them a serious chance to repeat as national champions? Well, look, I've already claimed that my prediction is 16-0. I'm not going to change that until evidence would prove otherwise. I'm willing to change my mind. But I kind of think, though, if you look at what USC did the other day, that's going to be in 2 weeks from now. What, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now? I think it's 3 weeks. 2 weeks now. I think it's 2 weeks from Saturday, right? USC comes to Ann Arbor. That's going to be a top 15, 18 team themselves. If you beat a top 5 Texas, and even if you were to lose to USC and Oregon and Ohio State, we won't, but just say they did, you've got that top 5 win on your resume in Texas. Let's say that was the record, and it played out where Michigan was 9-3. They won all the games they were supposed to and lost to the 3 ranked teams in the Big Ten. I could see a scenario. Now, it kind of will play out what happens with Oregon and USC and Ohio State and maybe even Penn State. But I could see a scenario that Michigan could even lose 3 games in the Big Ten and with this Texas win cement themselves in the playoffs. So you can't have any other losses, that's clear. But I really actually think that this could be a college football playoff clinching win for Michigan as long as any loss they have, which they won't have any, don't come against some absolute scrub of a team that nobody is expecting. Guys, one more reminder, like the dang video. Don't let me catch you. Don't be the guy sitting there on Saturday saying, oh my gosh, Texas beat us. Yoder said I would jinx it. If I didn't like the video, I didn't. That's what we're up against here. All right, our intern at Chat Wolverines, follow that account on Twitter too. He says, have you ever been to a Texas home game? I have. I've been to 2. And if so, how would you compare it to a game at Michigan? I don't think I have been more disappointed in the game day atmosphere ever in my life than at DKR, Darrell K. Royal Stadium. It is, people for years said, oh, Michigan's a wine and cheese crowd back in the 90s, early 2000s, really until they started having night games and, upgrade the scoreboards. They've got a cool scoreboard. I will give it that. But I've been to 2 Big 12 games, right? One was a field goal to win it against Kansas State, like back in 2019. And even so, it was like 85% capacity. There was no vibes in the stadium at all. And the tailgate scene around DKR doesn't exist, all right? We had a tailgate with a friend of the company that was like minutes from the stadium, and like a 2-minute walk from the stadium, you could throw a baseball at it. And that was like one of maybe a few hundred people tailgating within walking distance of the stadium. It was kind of, I don't want to say pathetic, but it is the ultimate wine and cheese crowd. There is no doing the wave. There's no, go blue. There's none of that. All the stuff that you love, that I love at Michigan Stadium and other stadiums that you see all across the country, DKR has none of it. I don't know what they're known for, and it would not be in my top 10 or 15 places to recommend a college football fan to go watch a game. Another chat sports guy here, big text, little text, more like it. Matthew McCullough, you can follow him on Twitter if you want. I'm not sure what he's tweeting these days. What will be Michigan's defensive plan to limit Texas passing game on Saturday? So you saw it. It was earlier this show. We put this up here, Jack. I think number 3 is the key, right? You've got to blanket these wide receivers and make Quinn Ewers throw the ball a little bit faster, right, than he wants to. Just a half second faster, right? So he gets the shotgun snap. He's 1, 2. He wants to step up 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, right? You've got to eliminate that by a half second or quarter second. So he's going 1, 2, steps up, getting hit, or step up. He's got to step back and throw it. Get him off his timing, get him off his rhythm. Don't let those receivers kind of get in between that zone or just get a little bit deeper behind the safety or anything like that. If you give him 4 seconds, he's going to pick you apart. So the same exact game plan. Obviously, mix up a few things. So, I'm sure Texas is going to watch this video. They know what's coming. Switch up some stuff. But for the most part, make Quinn Ewers throw the ball a half second, quarter second, half second faster, and blanket those wide receivers. Zone coverage works great if the quarterback has no time. If the quarterback has time, you can pick it apart. So we will see what Michigan comes with on Saturday. Texas strength, okay? Their talent is clearly strength, like Jeff Cooperstein said at the beginning of the show. That's clearly a strength. They've got 5 stars. I think their best player in their entire team right now might be this 5-star true freshman wide receiver who had 4 catches on Saturday against Colorado State. Experienced offensive line. What that does is plays right into Michigan's strength as well. So you got strength on strength, O-line, D-line. The last time that happened with Michigan, 2 games ago against Washington, Joe Moore Award-winning Washington offensive line. Michigan absolutely came through and won that matchup. But you got to make Quinn rush. his passing progressions, and good things will happen. I think it's in general, right? My biggest takeaway from all the questions we had and what everyone's saying out there is, oh, Michigan can't score enough. Oh, Michigan's going to do this. Michigan's going to do that. This is not the most talented team Michigan's faced in their last 5 games, right? I would say of the last 5 games Michigan's played, this is the 6 games, I guess, the Big Ten championship game, and then Fresno State. In the last 6 games, right, the last 5 plus this one, I would say Texas is the fourth most talented team, right? Alabama was more talented, maybe not a quarterback, but more talented. Ohio State was more talented, and Washington was more talented, right? We know it because they beat them right on the same damn field. So, of course, they were more talented. Michigan beat that same team 7 days later. I think Michigan's defensive line and secondary, they're going to be the difference in this game. Michigan can put up enough points to beat Texas. I've got a very similar score. I don't think Michigan's going to score 34 points, but I've got a similar score for Texas that I'm going to give out, I think, on Thursday's show, so you guys will not want to miss that one. Like the video, put out the good vibes. For Jack Gutteray, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh, and myself, we will see you guys maybe later today. Might do a 2 for Wednesday. Till then, go Blue.